Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage we've got another secret of the XK8. Follow me. This secret was actually brought to mind and tested during the recent visit to Gaydon, the British Motor Heritage Museum, for a bit of a show. And one of our fellow subscribers who was chatting with me, sorry I've forgotten who it was, so many faces, said, John, is it true that any Jaguar key can lock any of the Jaguar's doors? Now, I kind of knew the answer to this, but we took the opportunity while we were at the show to do a little test. And over the course of the next half hour or so, I tested this with 7 different people's keys on my car. And the engineer in me sort of understood the reason for the answer I'm about to give, but I'd never actually tried it until that moment. So the answer is yes. The keys that are used on the Jaguar XK8 and XKR X100 look like this. It's called a Tibbe key. It's not a commonly used key, although something very similar was in evidence in the same time period as my car on a lot of Ford vehicles. But what we have here is a 7-disc key. What that means is there are 7 different layers that can be ground. It's not focusing terribly well because it's a small thing. 7 different layers that can be ground with different shapes and angles. Ford keys only have 5. So actually the number of permutations for these keys is very high, because not only do we have the 7 different levels, but there are at least 3, some would say 4 different angles or codes that you could give to each of these levels. And our keys work in a similarly shaped lock hole, obviously, and the lock itself is called a disc disruptor lock, and it passes quite easily through 7 different little discs with a slot in them. And as you turn the key, depending on the angle that the key is ground to, it will turn some of those discs very slightly. Others will lag behind because of the grinding on here, and put all of those discs into a particular position when you turn it all the way clockwise. And when it gets all the way clockwise, if that position is not as intended, the door won't open. Likewise with locking, you turn it the other way and that disrupts the disc pattern such that it is no longer correct, and therefore the door won't open. So whilst my key has the right combination to open this lock, because when I turn it all the way to the right, it lines up the discs in a particular way, and therefore it's unlocked. You could pick up more or less any Jaguar key of this era, print to lock and lock it, and as long as it disrupts the discs sufficiently, then it will lock. So part of the legend behind these is they're rubbish keys because any key can unlock the car. That's not true. However, practically any key can lock the car. And whilst that particular fact is not desperately worrying from a security point of view, i.e. people breaking into your vehicle, what it does mean is that it is possible for some hijinks to occur where people lock your car when you are not the one who's trying to lock it. And that is one of the reasons that this style of key is not currently popular. Indeed, keys generally aren't. We tend to use keyless entry now, but it was never a mainstream choice for most manufacturers. If any of you are really interested in locks and mechanisms and how they work, I really recommend you getting over to another channel that I watch regularly. This makes me sound really dodgy, but I'm not. It's just fascinating as an engineer. It's called The Lock Picking Lawyer. If you don't already know that channel, it's a gentleman who can basically pick any lock, and he does videos on how to pick them. Not intending to teach criminals how to do their job, because there is a lot of skill in what he does. He actually tests locks, padlocks for lock companies and shows the weaknesses, vulnerabilities, how to pick out the really good locks, etc. And he has done videos on Tibbe or disk disruptor locks. And what you'll note is, yes, he can open one of these locks in seconds. However, he is using a tool that he has co-designed and manufactured to do that. And it's very precise and complex, and again, appeals to me hugely as an engineer. So yeah, if you're interested in that sort of thing, Lock Picking Lawyer, very, very interesting channel. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.